You wake up one morning, check your bank account, and there's nothing there. Not just a little, nothing. Your credit card is maxed out, your savings, gone. You owe money to people you don't even want to call. And the worst part, you don't even know how you got here. Now, here's the question nobody asks out loud. Is there a way back from this? Is it actually possible to rebuild your life completely, financially, emotionally, mentally, and come out stronger on the other side? The answer is yes, but not in the way most people think. Today, we're going deep into one of the most powerful roadmaps ever created for people who are done living paycheck to paycheck, done drowning in debt, done feeling ashamed every time the topic of money comes up. Stay with me for the next 30 minutes, because by the end of this video, you're going to see money and your life completely differently. Let's begin. Let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you told yourself, this month I'll be better with money? Maybe you've made that promise 10 times, maybe 50. And yet, somehow, the same patterns keep showing up. The same stress, the same arguments about bills, the same feeling of being stuck. Here's the truth. The problem isn't that you don't know money is important. You do. The problem is that nobody ever taught you how money actually works, and more importantly, how your mind about money works. This roadmap we're discussing today is designed for 3 types of people. First, people who are dealing with serious financial damage, maybe bankruptcy, maybe overwhelming debt, maybe you're just trying to survive. Second, people who are doing okay, but know deep down they're one emergency away from disaster. Third, people who have decided, truly decided, that they want to build real, lasting financial peace. Not just more money, but peace, freedom, control. The biggest mistake most people make? They think money problems are solved by making more money. But that's like putting more water in a leaking bucket. You have to fix the leak first. That's exactly what we're doing today. Let's go. Here's something I want you to really sit with. Your financial situation right now, whether it's great, terrible, or somewhere in the middle, is not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of what you've learned and the decisions you've made based on that learning. Read that again. Most people carry enormous shame around their financial failures, and that shame is one of the biggest reasons they never get out of the hole. Why? Because shame makes you hide, and when you hide from your money problems, they grow, like a wound you refuse to treat. Think about it this way. Let's say you learned to drive on a car with bad brakes. Nobody told you the brakes were failing. You just thought that was how driving felt. Scary, out of control, always braking too late. Now imagine someone shows you what properly working brakes feel like. Suddenly, everything changes. You're not a bad driver. You just never had the right tools. Money is the same way. Most of us grew up watching our parents stress about bills, fight about money, or never talk about it at all. We absorbed those patterns silently. We didn't choose them. They chose us. And here's the common mistake. People think starting fresh means erasing the past, but real financial recovery means understanding the past clearly, without judgment, so you don't repeat it. So here's your first action step, and I want you to actually do this. Take a blank piece of paper, write down every money memory you have from childhood. Good ones, bad ones, all of them. What did your parents say about money? What did they argue about? What did you swear you'd never do and then did anyway? This is called a financial autopsy, and it's the first step to getting a truly fresh start. You can't heal what you won't reveal. Now, stay with me, because what we're about to talk about next is the thing that separates people who talk about financial freedom from people who actually achieve it. It involves one simple habit that almost nobody uses correctly, coming up right now. All right, let's talk about the word that makes people run out of the room. Budget. I know, just hearing the word feels restrictive. It feels like someone's putting you in financial prison, telling you can't have the coffee, can't enjoy life, can't buy anything fun. But here's a story I want you to imagine. Picture 2 people. Both make the same salary, let's say $4,000 a month. Person A has no budget. They spend freely. Some months they're fine, some months they overdraft. At the end of the year, they have no savings, a little bit of debt, and zero idea where the money went. Person B sits down every single month and tells every single dollar where to go. Rent, paid. Groceries, allocated. Fun money, yes, they have fun money. $150 every month, guilt-free. Savings, automatic. Emergency fund, building. At the end of the year, person B has $3,000 in savings. Their debt is dropping, and they feel calm about money for the first time in their adult life. Same income, completely different results. The only difference? A budget. Here's what most people misunderstand.
A budget is not a restriction, it's permission. It gives you permission to spend on what matters because you've already taken care of what's necessary. The key insight here is this: every dollar needs a job. When money has no job, it disappears. This is true whether you make $2,000 a month or $20,000 a month. The mistake most people make when they try budgeting, they make it too complicated. They create 47 categories, try to track every penny, give up in week 2, and decide budgeting isn't for them. The correct approach? Start with just 5 categories. 1. Housing and bills. 2. Food. 3. Transportation. 4. Savings and debt payoff. 5. Everything else. That's it. 5 buckets. Work with that for 90 days before adding complexity. This isn't about perfection, it's about direction. A plane that's 1 degree off course can end up hundreds of miles from its destination. Your monthly budget is how you correct that 1 degree every single month. This week, go through last month's bank statement, highlight every single purchase, then sort them into those 5 categories. Don't judge, just observe. You'll probably be shocked, and that shock is the beginning of your fresh start. Now, here's where things get really interesting, because there's a psychological pattern that almost every person in debt has, and most financial books never talk about it. This next idea is the difference between trying to change and actually changing. Keep watching. Let me tell you about something called future self-disconnect. It's a psychological phenomenon that researchers have studied, and it explains something very uncomfortable about human behavior. When scientists scan the brains of people who are asked to imagine their future self, who they'll be in 10 or 20 years, something surprising happens. That future self activates the same parts of the brain as a stranger, not you, a stranger. What does this mean for money? It means that when you choose to spend money today instead of save it, your brain genuinely does not register that you're stealing from yourself. It registers that you're spending money that belongs to someone else, someone who far away, someone who doesn't feel real. This is why telling yourself, I'll start saving next month, never works. Next month you is a stranger, and you don't sacrifice for strangers. The uncomfortable truth that separates people who achieve financial freedom from people who don't is that winners have learned to make their future self feel real, today. How? By creating vivid, specific pictures of what they're building toward. Not just, I want to be debt-free. That's too vague. Your brain doesn't respond to vague. Instead, by December 31st of next year, I will owe $0 on my credit card. I will sleep without that knot in my chest. I will sit at this same kitchen table and feel completely different. That specificity, that emotional detail, is what makes the future self feel real enough to sacrifice for. The psychological insight here is also about identity. Most people try to change their behavior first, hoping their identity will follow. But that's backwards. Winners change their identity first. Stop saying, I'm trying to get out of debt. Start saying, I am the kind of person who pays off debt. I am the kind of person who does not buy what I cannot afford. I am the kind of person who builds wealth slowly and surely. When your identity shifts, your behavior follows automatically, because people act in alignment with who they believe they are. This is what separates the people who change their financial life for good from the people who are still making the same resolution every January. De-exercise can't write it out, picky cow, boka, guga, boga, zen, bumby. Write down 3 sentences starting with, I am the kind of person who, financial identity statements. Put them somewhere you see them every morning. This is not positive thinking. This is identity architecture. It works. Okay, we're now going to talk about the concept most financial teachers skip entirely. It's about a specific type of debt that people misuse constantly, and how the right approach to this one thing can accelerate your entire financial recovery by years. Don't skip this part.
Here's a deep lesson that most quick financial summaries miss entirely. Not all debt is equal, and not all debt is evil. There are 2 kinds of debt in the world. Let's call them dead debt and alive debt. Dead debt is debt on things that lose value the moment you buy them. Credit card debt for vacations you already took, car loans on vehicles that depreciate every year, buy now, pay later purchases on clothes and electronics. This debt drains your life. It takes money out of your future for experiences that are already in the past. Alive debt is strategic, debt on things that create value or that were genuinely necessary, managed responsibly. A mortgage on a home that builds equity, a business loan that generates income, a student loan on education that opens real career opportunities. Here's how people misuse this concept. They hear, not all debt is bad, and they use it as permission to justify every borrowing decision they make. My car loan is fine, my vacation loan is okay, my credit card for restaurants is manageable. No, the correct way to think about it is this. Before taking on any debt, ask one question. Is this debt adding to my life or subtracting from my future? If you're already in a debt situation right now, here's the most important strategic principle. Do not try to pay all your debts equally. This is the mistake that keeps people stuck for decades. Instead, use a stacking approach. List all your debts. Find the one with the highest interest rate, usually a credit card. Put every extra dollar you can find toward that one debt. Pay minimum on everything else. The moment that first debt is gone, take every dollar you were paying on it and add it to the next highest interest debt. The psychological power of this method is massive. You see progress. Progress creates momentum. Momentum creates more action. It's a cycle, a good one.
And here's the uncomfortable truth about this approach. It requires patience. Most people want to be debt-free in 6 months. For many people, the realistic timeline is 3 to 5 years, and that's okay. 3 to 5 years of focused effort versus 30 years of financial stress, which one sounds better to you? This week, list every debt you have. The balance, the minimum payment, the interest rate. Put them in order from highest interest to lowest. That list is your battle plan. The day you see that list clearly is the day you stop feeling like a victim of your debt. All right, this is where we turn everything we've talked about into real action. No more information, just execution. Here is your 7-day fresh start plan. Simple, doable, real. Day 1, financial autopsy. Set aside 30 minutes. Pull out every bank statement from the last 3 months. Look at where your money went. Write down the top 5 categories you spent on. No judgment, just information. Day 2, know your numbers. Write down your total income. Write down every single bill you owe every month. Write down every debt, balance, minimum payment, interest rate. This is your financial truth document. Most people have never done this. Most people are afraid to. Do it anyway. Day 3, build your first budget. Using those 5 categories, housing, food, transportation, savings/debt, everything else, allocate every dollar of your monthly income. Give every dollar a job before the month begins. Day 4, identity day. Write your 3 financial identity statements. Spend 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night reading them, out loud, slowly. This feels awkward. Do it anyway. Day 5, debt vital plan. Arrange your debts from highest interest to lowest. Call the top 2 creditors and ask, just ask, if they can lower your interest rate. Many people don't know this works. Sometimes it does. Even if it doesn't, you've started the conversation. Day 6, emergency fund launch. Open a separate savings account if you don't have one. Online banks often have no fees. Transfer even $25 into it today. Name it Peace Fund. This account is not for emergencies you can plan for. It's for actual emergencies. Car breaking down, medical bill, job loss. Start small. The habit matters more than the amount. Day 7, accountability day. Find one person in your life, one, who you trust enough to tell, I'm working on my finances. I need someone to check in with me once a month. It doesn't have to be detailed, just accountability. Studies consistently show that people with even one accountability partner are dramatically more successful at behavior change than those working alone. 7 days, that's it. You don't need to change your whole life this week. You just need to take 7 steps. I want to leave you with something that I think about a lot. There's a story of a man who was $200,000 in debt. Business failed, marriage strained, house nearly gone. Most people in his situation, they either give up completely or they spend the next 20 years running from the problem. This man did something different. He stopped. He sat down at his kitchen table with a pen and paper and wrote every number down, every debt, every asset, every dollar in and out. And for the first time in years, he looked at the full picture without flinching. And in that moment, the worst moment of his financial life, something unexpected happened. He felt calm. Not because the numbers were good, they weren't, but because the unknown became known. And known problems can be solved. Unknown problems, they just haunt you. That's the real fresh start. Not a magic solution, not winning the lottery, not some guru's 30-day system. The real fresh start is the moment you choose to see clearly, feel the truth without shame, and decide, $1 at a time, that your story isn't over. Because here's the mindset shift I want you to carry with you. Financial peace is not a destination you arrive at when you hit a number in your bank account. Financial peace is a practice. It's something you do every month, every week, every decision. And every single time you make a conscious choice about money, you are exercising that practice. You didn't get into debt in a day. You won't get out in a day either. But every right decision compounds. Just like interest works against you when you owe, it works for you when you save and invest. And it works for your confidence too. Every small win builds the belief that bigger wins are possible. You are not behind in life. You are exactly where your decisions have brought you. And right now, in this moment, you can choose differently. The fresh start isn't out there somewhere. It's right here, in the next decision you make. All right, if this video gave you even one idea that made you think differently about your money or your life, do me one favor. Hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this. If you're new here and you want more videos like this, real, practical, honest breakdowns of the books and ideas that actually change lives, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss one. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what was your single biggest takeaway from today's video? Was it the identity shift, the budget approach, the debt strategy, or the 7-day plan? Tell me in the comments, because your answer might be the one that helps someone else who reads it. I'll see you in the next video. Keep going. Your fresh start has already begun.